Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to break down a term you've probably heard a million times by now, the digital workplace. Now it's a total buzzword, and even though we use it all the time, a lot of us don't really know what it means. So let's clear things up.
Right off the bat, what even is it? Is it just that folder on your computer with a bunch of apps? Or is it something that only matters if you work from your couch? Well, spoiler alert, it's way, way more than that. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, at its very core, the simplest way to think about it is this. The digital workplace is the online version of your physical office. But, and this is key, it's not just a random jumble of tools. It's a whole ecosystem where everything is connected, all designed to help you get work done no matter where you are.
But, this whole concept didn't just pop up out of nowhere. To really get a handle on it, we've got to look at where the idea came from and how it basically became essential for every modern business.
So here's the wild part. The term itself was actually coined way back in 2009. For about a decade, companies were kind of just dipping their toes in the water, trying out some cloud stuff, building some basic intranets. But then 2020 happened, and boom. What was once this niche concept just exploded into the new normal. The adoption rate just shot through the roof.
And that massive acceleration has thrown us into a completely new work reality. This isn't some temporary thing. It's a deep, fundamental shift in how we work. And it's made the digital workplace an absolute necessity, not just a nice to have.
Just look at this comparison. It says everything. The old way, it was all about one central building, in-person meetings, that rigid 9-to-5 grind. But today, the hub is digital. It's spread out. The whole center of gravity for how work actually happens has shifted online. And if you want proof, look at the numbers. Forrester's research shows that working from home is set to be three times more common than it was before the pandemic. A 300% increase isn't a small blip. That's a massive, permanent change. And hey, this isn't just wishful thinking from employees. According to Microsoft, 2/3 of all employers are actively redesigning their companies around a formal hybrid work model. This is a strategic move, coming right from the top. So why is every company jumping on this bandwagon? Well, it's because a great digital workplace does more than just let people work from home. It actually unlocks some seriously powerful benefits for absolutely everyone. Let's look at what that win-win really looks like. For the business itself, the gains are huge. We're talking higher productivity, real cost savings on things like office space, and, maybe most importantly, it helps them keep their best people. And for employees, this is a game changer. It's about getting your time back, having more flexibility, a better work-life balance, and feeling truly empowered. That's the win-win.
Okay, so the why makes a ton of sense. But what about the how? How do you actually build one of these things so it delivers on all those promises? Well, it turns out it all comes down to a framework built on 3 really important pillars.
And listen, the first pillar is, without a doubt, the most important one. It all starts with people. Seriously, you can have the most amazing, expensive tech in the world, but if your people aren't ready or willing to use it, it's basically worthless. And this is where things get tricky. Just look at this number. It's staggering. 3/4 of the workforce say they feel unprepared for the digital demands of their own jobs. That's a huge skills gap. It just proves that any successful strategy has to start with training and supporting your people. It's always, always people first.
All right, so once your people are supported, then you can talk about pillar number 2, the right tools. But this isn't just about going on a software shopping spree. It's about having a unified strategy, because a bunch of disconnected tools can actually cause more headaches than they solve.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. When you've just got this random collection of apps, your teams end up fighting each other instead of working together. A real digital workplace makes sure all the tools play nicely as part of one big, cohesive system that actually helps the business.
And that brings us to the third and final pillar, the one that holds everything else together, and that is culture. Culture is like the invisible glue. It's how people communicate, how they work together, how they innovate, whether they're sitting next to each other or 1,000 miles apart. And when you get that culture right, when it truly empowers people with technology, the results are just mind-blowing. Employees are 230% more engaged and 85% more likely to stick around for the long haul. That is the ultimate payoff right there.
Now, of course, this all sounds great in theory, but let's be real. Getting there isn't always a smooth ride. It's really important to know about the common roadblocks and also to keep an eye on what's coming down the pipe.
So get this. According to McKinsey, a shocking 70% of all digital transformations fail. And what's the number one reason? Employee resistance.
See? It all comes right back to the people. If you don't bring them along for the ride, the whole thing is pretty much doomed from the start. And looking ahead, you have to remember the digital workplace is never really done. It's always evolving. We're going to see way more automation, we'll have to constantly adapt to new tech, and employees are going to expect more and more from their tools. The big focus will keep shifting toward employee well-being and just trying to make sense of the explosion of new software.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's pretty simple. Having a well-thought-out, strategic digital workplace isn't a luxury anymore. It's not optional. It is absolutely fundamental if you want to stay competitive and attract the best talent.
And that really just leaves us with one last big question. Think about it. You would never build a physical office without a detailed blueprint, right? Without thinking about how people move and collaborate. So, have you put that same level of intentional, purposeful design into your digital office? That's the question every leader needs to be asking themselves.